That means that they aren't coming to visit every now and then with calamitous judgments. It means God's taking care of them. Come with me, if you will, to Isaiah 38. In Isaiah 38, Hezekiah had been sick. And he prays, and verse number 17, behold, Isaiah 38, verse 17, behold, for peace I had great bitterness, but thou hast in love to my soul delivered it from the pit of corruption, for thou hast cast all my sins behind your back. You know what Hezekiah says? He says, you know what God did? He took all my sins, the record of them, all the idea of it, he took them all, wadded them up, and threw them back behind my back. Now, you know, if they're behind his back, that's another way of saying he put them out of his sight. If they're back there, his eyes are looking this way. If they're back there, then they're out of mind, they're out of sight, you don't see them, and they're not the issue anymore. That's how far away he sent them. Come with me to Micah chapter 7. Book of Micah chapter 7. If you got the right Bible, it's page 951. If you don't, look it up yourself. It's right in front of Nahum. That's a lot of help, isn't it? It's after Jonah, so. Micah 7, verse number 18. Who is a God like unto thee? By the way, that's what the word Micah means. Who is a God like unto thee, that pardoneth iniquity, and passeth by the transgression of the remnant of his heritage? He retaineth not his anger forever, because he delighteth in mercy. He will turn again. He will have compassion upon us. He will subdue our iniquity. Thou wilt cast all their sins into the depths of the sea. You know what happens when you drop something overboard? It's gone, brother. When I was a young lad, I had an experience that really impresses that verse on me. I was fishing with my uncle, my dad and my brothers and myself and my uncle. We were down on the river, Scambia County, Alabama. We were out on the river. We'd camped out for a couple of days on the river bank, and we were getting up one morning and ready to go fishing again. And we were I was on the front seat of the boat. I must have been 8, 9 years old. Right on the front seat of the boat, my uncle was going to sit in the back of his little fishing boat, 2-seater with a outboard engine. And we hadn't cast off yet, and he was coming down the bank, but he had been to the boat, and he'd left something, he'd gone back up to the campsite. And I was sitting there fiddling like a little boy would do, and he had a Craftsman screwdriver. You know what a Craftsman screwdriver looks like? That red stripe down the handle of Craftsman written in it and all, and so forth. And I was playing with that screwdriver, and he had a pair of needle-nose pliers. And the needle-nose pliers were what you used to get the hook out of the fish's mouth. the very important utensils on the boat there. And I was playing with them, and you know how you do, you play in the water a little bit, and then you play a little further in the water a little bit, and then you think, well, you know, I wonder if I dropped that, if I could catch it, and you do it a time or two, and it works, and in a minute, it didn't. In my mind's eye, I can still see that red handle stripe, that little stripe on that red handle of that Craftsman screwdriver going down in the water. And my little hand plunging shoulder deep after it. And just beyond my, and I couldn't get it. You know, that screwdriver is still buried in that river somewhere. It's gone. And I had to face the consequences. He says, you know what God does? He takes your, it's lost forever, folks. I couldn't get it back for anything. Gone. We were up in Wisconsin one time. Well, no, tell about my kids and they get upset at me. It's gone. He says he takes your sins and he's going to cast them into the depths of the sea. They're going to be lost forever and never to be recovered again. You know, that's how far away he sent your sins. One more verse. Isaiah chapter 43. Now we can give a whole bunch of verses like this that illustrate. I'll just give you, I'm trying to get across to you the idea of the extent. How far away he sends them. Isaiah 43 verse 25. I, even I, am he that blotteth out thy transgressions for mine own sake, and will not remember thy sins. Two things. God says to Israel, I'm going to blot out your transgressions. When you blot something out, you remove it from the record. You take it and you can white it out, or you can just scratch through it so nobody can see it. But you removed it. I'm going to take your sins and I'm going to remove them from the record. I'm going to send them away. I'm going to dismiss them. They're going to be gone. And I will not remember thy sins. I have determined to forget them and not bring them up again. Not remember them. Not hold them against you. Not every time something happens say, yeah, you remember, don't you? You need to remember when he says, as God for Christ's sake has forgiven you, that's how you're to forgive others. That's God's criteria. Is sending them away.